My students love the Gothic texts. A lot of the texts that I teach on this unit are known through popular culture. So everybody knows Sherlock Holmes, right? Everybody knows Dracula. Most of my students are familiar with The Telltale Heart because of The Simpsons. My name's Dr. Stephanie Russo. I work in the OUA program through Macquarie University. So I convene a unit where we look at Gothic fiction right from the beginnings of Gothic fiction in the 18th century up to contemporary crime novels and film. Gothic fiction is fiction that's concerned with the darker and seamier kind of side of life. It's about murder, it's about kidnapping, it's about working on texts that have been neglected or thought of as just schlocky nonsense, B-grade horror, etc. They often actually tell you more about what people are actually interested in and are fearful of. So are you scared about the monster, the supernatural monster? Well, in the 18th century, yes. They were very scared of, say, the foreign, the strange, the other. So you often got all of these stories about a monster or the devil, in many cases, coming and doing something. And then in the 20th century, you get a more kind of psychological horror, the damaged person that you get in Psycho, the idea that the person sitting next to you could be, some kind of deranged psychopath. With Edgar Allan Poe, you've got this great story called The Telltale Heart, in which the main character tells you all the time, oh, I'm not mad, I'm completely rational, and he ends up doing something quite mad. How are you supposed to tell what's actually going on? Is any of this even happening? Is this just a deranged fever dream? So you start to get into that kind of murky world of ambiguity, and I think that's something that students latch onto. The Gothic writers that we study in the unit are very concerned with questions of history, with changes, big social changes. So for example, we do this Victorian sensation novel, and it's all about the new woman. The idea that the woman wasn't the angel in the house, but she could be just as sort of bad and naughty as anybody else. So I think gender and sexuality is something that students are drawn to, because I think that it's something that we are still very much grappling with as a society. And I think it's something they don't necessarily think of when they go into a Gothic fiction unit. Big statements about the social world, about gender, about race. So that's what I really find exciting about it. I think that if you weren't sure if Gothic fiction was for you, I would probably advise you to start with Dracula, because it's such an iconic book that I think it's really interesting to think about why it's become this kind of cultural touchstone for us. Even if you think it sounds hard or difficult, you don't know until you try, and you might love it. I've never had a student that's enrolled and hated the unit. Everybody loves the texts. The only bad thing about it is you might have to read some books, and that's not bad, so, you can't lose.